Hey, welcome everybody to Spirituality Adventures. We're glad you're tuning into this episode. We are a viewer and listener supported podcast, so we really appreciate you listening, watching on YouTube. We really encourage you to subscribe to whatever platform you're using. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, or if you're on Apple or however you listen to a podcast, be sure and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. Also, make comments if you like it and share it if you like it. We really need people to make comments and share the episodes that you like. And then also, if you're not already a supporter, we really would encourage you to go to spiritualityadventures.com and you can pick a tier, and we have bonus content for every type of giver. This is a nonprofit, so they're tax-deductible donations, but we do provide bonus content for those who are supporters. So be a part of the team, help support Spirituality Adventures, and we're so glad you're tuning into this episode. Welcome, everybody, to Spirituality Adventures. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Today, I'm excited to interview Glenn Robinson. He is a hip-hop artist here in Kansas City, Missouri, and he goes by the Epitome.
That's right. Hey, folks at home.
Glenn, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. And I have been listening to the Epitome.
Oh boy!
Now for a good week or so since we had you booked.
Yeah, man.
So you just know what's going through my mind now.
Yeah,
right?
man. Wow. Wow, right? I'm gonna be honest with you, Fred. I go places and people. I'll date a girl or whatever, and she's like, I didn't expect you to be this nice. And I'd be like, well, what did you expect? Right. Did you think after I just met you I was going to call you the B word or something?
Right,
it's
right.
I might say a few words every now and then on that music stuff, but wow. I wouldn't just call you that. There's a time and place for that.
Yeah, exactly, man. But let's start with your origin story.
Yeah.
Like where were you born? Where did you grow up? Give us a little bit about your family background, maybe even your spiritual background a little bit.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. I was born in Parade Park, which is on 18th and Vine. And why I say that is I've lived in Parade Park 5 times. I still live there right now.
Wow.
I literally lived there. I moved out, moved back in with my mom, moved out from her and moved in with my dad, moved out and lived in there was one more time because I was born there. So that's 5 times. So yeah, I lived with my dad twice. I lived with my mom once in her own unit. I live in my grandmother's unit now, and I was born in one. So I've been in Parade Park like almost my whole life. It's completely insane. And now they're about to tear it down.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. So it's been all over like little news stuff. And I guess Parade Park messed up a loan with HUD or something like that. And now it's been sold to all these people. And I guess the consensus is they're going to tear it down and help people to move. But most of the people that are there are like older. Because they've been in, it was the first black co-op in Missouri.
So from the Blue Room, which way is Prairie Park?
So you want to go up toward, like you're going towards Arthur Bryant's.
Okay.
And there's some blue townhouses right on the way.
Yeah.
That's Prairie Park.
Okay.
So I'm like 1 block away from Vine.
Okay.
It's crazy. Mm-hmm. So that's the game, man.
Wow. So what high school did you go to?
I went to Northeast High School.
Okay.
Yeah, man. We down there in the Italian mob area.
Yeah.
Now it's a lot of Hispanics.
Right.
But back in the day, that was the mob and the mob area, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You see places like Cosentino's, I don't sound like a mob member.
Yeah.
Cosentino's.
I did a
Apple Market.
Yeah. I've partnered with funerals that is, I think, the Pasentino's funeral home right there on Independence Avenue.
Yep.
And
as we did.
Yeah, I've done weddings for Belafonte's.
Wow.
I married a Favazza.
A Favazza?
Uh-huh.
You might be in the mob too. You're connected.
Well, I was at Park Hill High School in the 70s, and the kids who weren't in private Catholic schools, were at Park. Some of them were at Park Hill because the north, the Italians moved north at some point, but they still had, the Northeast was the main center for all that.
Right, I got you.
When the Irish,
over there, I get it.
When the Irish mob fell, the Italians moved in. You know, the Irish mobs were the one that put Harry Truman, you know, that whole backstory of Kansas City. In the 20s and 30s, everything was run by the Irish.
And then why did they leave? Did they get ran out?
Turf wars, and then the Italian took over. And then,
wow. I remember I was watching, is it Goodfellas? I want to say Goodfellas. They shot part of their stuff in here, and they were talking about people from the Kansas City Mafia. And see the Goodfellas, what were the one with Joe Pesci and he stabs him with the pen? That Casino. Okay. They talk about Kansas City Mafia people in Casino. Yeah. And so it brings that level of realism to the fact that it's really, really happened here.
Yeah. Well, I've got friends that have family members in prison right now from that whole, you know, when they finally got everybody put away. You remember?
My friend Luigi bought a bar called Hillsiders. And the whole bottom is like all these tunnels where they were running money and drugs through. And it like goes all the way through that Kansas City, Kansas area. And like, it's like a mile. And there were just all these stops and stuff. Like, it's crazy, man.
It's wild stuff, right? So what did you do post high school?
Man, wow. So I went to college for like a year or two. And then I wanted a car, right? So I was like, I'm going to work all summer and get a car. So I worked all summer and got a car and then did not calculate having a car note. And so while I was summer, it was cool. I was like, oh man, this is great. You know, I'm doing great right now. And then school came back around and it was like, struggling trying to figure it out. So I went ahead and started working a job because nobody else was going to pay for my car, but I couldn't do both because I'm not consistent enough to work full time and go to school full time. So I just started working at ADT Security Services. The worst job I ever worked. Well, no, the worst job I ever had was Worlds of Fun. It was really bad. Sorry if anyone worked at Worlds of Fun and loved it, but it's terrible. It's terrible. I worked in Camp Snoopy, and when the kids threw up, they made us go clean it up, and that's crazy. And I would be like, so you want me to go clean up that kid's straw? That's what you want me to do? Yeah, nah, I'm not coming back, bro. Then they didn't have no water, and then they made me carry the water. Like, I think they were trying to punish me for asking for water. So they made me carry the big bucket of water all the way up the hill. And I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. But yeah, so started working at ADT. It's crazy, man. And this is after I started rapping. So I started rapping in church. I was the first person to take my family to church.
So tell us about that.
I went to Grace Church of the Nazarene. Was the first church I ever went to. Oh my gosh. And I went to a place called Milestone.
Where is that located?
Grace Church is like in the Independence. It's in the, not Independence, but on Independence Avenue. And
What was it? White, black?
Definitely white.
White
definitely
church?
white.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
white church.
Oh yeah, and they don't believe in tongues.
Right.
Like there was this time this lady started speaking in tongues, and he was like, "You better keep that in the prayer closet." And I was like, "Whoa, wow!"
Plus, they got a lot of rules.
They do, they do, and I'd be sitting in there like, So what happened from there, I transitioned to Sheffield Family Life Center.
Oh, okay.
And the main reason was because there was more people that I related to. Sure. There was a whole thing for middle school and high school kids, particularly just to come to church.
Yeah.
So then, of course, they all know all the new like gospel rap and stuff like that. I was like, there's a such thing as gospel rap? What? Yeah. Dudes like rapping about Jesus? Yeah, right. Let me hear it. So I put it on and it just came a long way.
Who did you listen to originally?
I think like the originators of the stuff that I ever heard that really popularized it was the Cross Movement.
Okay.
So the Cross Movement is actually, do you know who Lecrae is?
Yeah, he's
Lecrae,
probably the biggest name.
If you go back, Lecrae was initially signed to Crossroads Records.
Okay.
So they had something called the 116 Clique. And it was like whatever book 116, and they had a little group, and that was a group that the Cross Movement signed, and Lecrae was one of the members.
Interesting.
And when he first started, he made like Little John-esque Christian music. So it would be like, represent, get crunk, represent, get crunk for Jesus. And I was like, yo, this mad corny, but it's dope because there hadn't been any avenues like that for me. So it was able to help me to transition into wanting to be more spiritual, wanting to be more connected with God, because there was this whole like group of men that were rapping about, God. And then there's a guy that came out, his name is Flame, and he was special because he particularly, I'm dead serious. It was like he was rapping scriptures. Like he's like that thorough. He's rapping scriptures. And I was like, oh, well, this guy can rap though. The rest of the guys, it's not that they couldn't rap, but they were so focused on trying to make the raps about God that it actually diminished the fact that they were good rappers. Because if it's like every line, you're just like, God, 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 God. It's like, okay, bro, we get it. It's a gospel rap album. I bought it. I get it. But they beat you on the head so much that I was like, all right. But Flame was able to, for me anyway, deliver the message, but still make music that was listenable to while still maintaining all that stuff, which Lecrae has mastered now. Like you'll listen to Lecrae and you have to listen very carefully for you to hear like him dropping the gems. You're like, he said he talking about, he said he, you always got my back.
Yeah.
But that's just the evolution of the music. I knew it changed because I saw Lecrae on BET. And this was after, I believe, Church Closed 3. And I'm like, Lecrae on BET? Oh, man, I know Lecrae. Not personally, but I'm like, bro, I've been listening to this guy for 25 years. It feels like he really did it.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
Yeah, man. I knew Pastor Westlake.
Oh, yeah.
From Sheffield.
See?
And I knew him.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That dude is a walking Bible.
And, yeah, right. And then his son, who runs the church now. But anyway, yeah. Well,
it's cool, man. It's cool.
That's all right. That's a lot of fun. So it's so fascinating to me. So many black rappers got their start in church. Even if they don't have anything to do with church now.
Yeah.
That's where they got their start. And same way with the singers, too. Like,
oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing.
It was the first place that I felt accepted at, like, to rap. Like, because we did it just for fun. It wasn't like any pressure. We used to, like, meet out in the parking lot and all, like, rap, like, just, like, we had, like, a tape player, a CD player, and I'll burn, like, beats and bring them and put them in the parking lot, and we freestyle when none of us had cars, man. So we would just be outside rapping, and that was the beginning of the journey, man. It's just crazy to think back, because one of the only person I know from then that still raps is a guy named TJ Riddle. Shout out to TJ Riddle, man. He still raps, but a majority of the people that I started with don't rap anymore or don't take it seriously. It's just fun. So it's crazy to see.
Yeah. So tell us how your rapping career started in the church parking lot, or however, with these guys, and how did it evolve from there? Because you're talking about, what, 15, 20 years?
More than that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Wow. I decided one day that I didn't curse in my raps then, right? So I would be like, when I wanted to say like the S word, I'd be like, shh, like really long, so people would know that there was something supposed to go there, but it wasn't there, So one of my friends, his name was Matt. He was like, oh, we should start taking this more seriously. And I was like, well, we're not taking it seriously? It's like, no, we're not writing anything. We don't have any beats. We just freestyle in the parking lot. And I'm like, well, all right, let's do it. So we made some projects that went 100% wood, meaning nobody listened to them. Yeah, not even copper. Nah, this is rough.
Not even your mom, huh?
No, my mom didn't support me. My mom, shout out to my mom, but my mom didn't support me until way later in my career.
Okay.
And I'll get to that. But so we started making music together, and it was genuinely terrible. It's really bad. Just thousands of dollars not spent the right way. And I just had this whole idea that because I was the hardest person breathing to ever do this, that someone's going to come down here to Kansas City and pull me out my apartment and put me into a stage and let me do what I do because I'm the greatest ever. And then it had been some years and I was like, wow, I guess no one's really coming, huh? Damn. And that's when you have the realization that maybe you're not as good as you thought you were. And that oyster opens up and you just start to notice the talent of some of the people that have progressed further than you. And you kind of get that, like, did I quit trying to grow? Because I was so comfortable with thinking that I was the best that there ever was. Mm-hmm. So I had that realization, and then I quit rapping. Cold turkey, just, hey, you know what? I had a bunch of projects done, like just chilling, that I never did anything with, and I just said, I'm good on this. This was around when Obama got elected. I tried 2 personal projects. I called them the election day and the inauguration. I put them out right when Obama got elected and when he got inaugurated. And I thought that was somehow going to push my project. Like, oh man, it's called election day. People are going to look at it because of that, right? Yeah, nah. We went wood again. But I did get some genuine lifelong fans that rock with me when I went wood. So that's pretty dope. But after that, I quit. I mean, I'm talking years. Years.
Wow.
And this girl I was dating, this was like around 2015, 2016. She was just like, hey, you know, you're actually kind of good at this rap stuff. I was looking through your phone and found some stuff. You're pretty good. And I was like, right. Yeah. Nobody else thought that. So my friend that I started with, he was like, hey, you should just come rap with me. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, come rap with me. And I'm like, what are we rapping about? He was like, nerdy stuff. And I was like, excuse me? He was like, yeah, man, I just rap about anime.
Yeah,
it's great. I was like, we can just rap about anime and that's it? He's like, that's it. Anime and girls and drugs. And he's like, and drugs and liquor. And I was like, he's like, that's all I do. Anime, girls, drugs, and liquor. I was like, bro, that sounds amazing. I want to rap about anime, drugs, girls, and liquor. And he's like, well, come on. And so I went to his house and it was going to be crazy, but I was his hype man. I used to hype him up. Like, I just would get up on stage with him, and I had like one song because I still wasn't writing or anything. And we made an agreement. He was like, I got the internet because I, until the past few years, was not an internet guy. I used to be like in the comments like, hey, yo, call me. Yeah. Nobody likes that. I found that out the hard way. So I told him, I got the streets. You get the internet. And then I started pounding the pavement. And that's when I met all the promoters, all the connections, and then I just put myself in there. And so that way, that's why I book myself for anything now, because I went to all the rooms, any room where you could rap at, and I just greased palms with the people until they told me how I can get in. Then I just like lost a bunch of money by letting people book me and then them keep the money so that I can run into the room and do it. So one of the first people to ever book me, his name is Steady P. Shout out Steady P, man, that's a good dude. And he would put me in a room, but he would never let me meet the owner. So then I kept calling the establishment. And finally the guy picks up. His name was Steve. And I told Steady as soon as I did it, because I'm like, I don't want you to feel like I was
what year was this?
Yeah, probably 2019, 2018. Okay. So I meet Steve and I'm like, here are all these flyers. And he's like, what is this? He's like, these are all the shows that I did in your room that someone else booked. And he was like, let's look at the tickets for these shows. And I'm like, that was me. So I don't want to go through him anymore. And it's not any knock on him, but he get my money, man. Like, I want to do it myself. And so I built my connection that way. And Steve owns Lemonade Park, Mini Bar, and Record Bar. So it's 3 different venues. Yeah. He's a really good guy, man. But then Steady runs all those now. So just the way that the world works is I did all this work to be able to get in and book myself. And now Steady runs them anyway. And so now he's calling me like, hey, you want to book something? I'm like, yeah, man. But so that's really how we got here, man. From the church to quitting to being hype man. And then I decided to, after I started hitting the street so hard, I was like, well, I might as well rap. And I think I did. That was like 2016 when I started taking it seriously. And I did like 6 songs a year. That's not enough. But I just was such a perfectionist that that's all I could do. It's like 6 songs a year until maybe 2022. And that's when I decided that I never had went 100%. I was like, I've been saying that I'm doing this, but I've never invested everything. I've never pushed every button. I've never done it all. So 2023 was my year of like, I'm going to do it all. I'm going to do every single thing I ever said I was going to do.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I went through, I've been listening to, and I thought maybe we'd do like a hip hop for dummies.
Yeah.
For white folks.
I'll put you on.
But I went through Still Trill.
Yeah.
NNTT.
Yeah. Nerdy Neighbors Trap 2.
There you go. I haven't earned the right to say that whole thing. Anyway. and then Bougie Type Beat.
Absolutely.
Okay. So each of these albums,
different sounds.
Right. Each of these sounds are, but like each of the title of the album, Trill, Trap, and Bougie,
right,
are slang words in the hip hop community.
Absolutely.
So maybe work from the concept of each of these albums. Tell us about Still Trill, because Trill is like a word for genuine, authentic, right?
Yep.
It's type.
So my first project that I put out in 2016 when I got serious about rap was called Trill Murray.
Okay.
Which doesn't mean anything other than I really like Bill Murray.
I saw his picture.
Yeah, so Still Trill, right?
Right.
It's like, hey, I'm still him though. So it was like, in my mind, the continuation to the project I made years ago called Trill Murray. So why that project is special, I used to be in a collective called Nakama, and that was where I started rapping at. And then at this time, we fell out because of the project I put out like a year before that, called, or a year after that. I don't remember which one it came out. It was called Hennessy Hokage.
Okay.
I want to say that it came out in 2020.
Okay.
So it was the year after Still Trill. But this was all around that time because I was working on it during then. And basically, that whole, you get the internet, I get the streets thing kind of blew up in my face because they felt like I wasn't promoting them. I was only promoting myself. But I'm like, you told me to get in the street. If your face card doesn't work, then what else is there? You know what I mean? Like, I had to book myself so that we can have a fan base or whatever the case may be. So then this was like the transition of me leaving that group and really becoming the front man. I had always just been the person that was kind of in the background, making the shows work, merchandising, stuff like that.
Okay.
And after this, that was when I realized that I have to do it myself. So it was a very interesting time and probably my weakest project I think I ever did because I was so focused on like trying to sound like myself.
Okay.
So I was like which is crazy with how old I am, but I was discovering what my sound was going to be on that project because I had never done it without all my friends.
Yeah.
So
like when I interviewed Kadesh Flow, who appears on the Still Trill
absolutely.
album, Kadesh is really into the anime stuff too.
Oh man, way more than I am.
He's got a YouTube channel where he's
dressed up as Link.
Yeah, and I was asking him about how you like the copyrights on all that anime stuff.
Oh man, they don't care until you put the name in the title.
Okay.
So if you were to make a song and it went viral and it was called The Legend of Zelda, they'd probably come for you.
Okay.
But if you called it Link's Story, they're not gonna come for you.
Yeah.
But if you were just like, it's called Lord of the Rings. Yeah. They would be like, okay, calm down, Fred. Calm down. Lord of the Rings, chill out. Chill out. You're doing too much. So usually you'd have to really do something ridiculous to get caught for something like that. One of our friends, his name is Risey K. He made a really popular Harry Potter beat. He sampled Harry Potter. And it went like crazy viral. They never came for him for it. Like
they didn't. Wow.
But I do have other people that I've seen get got for like big anime samples and things of that nature. But I don't sample anime. I just talk about it.
Okay.
Like Kadesh is more directly nerdcore. I'm more nerdcore adjacent.
Okay.
I have references and stuff, but it's like few and far between in comparison where you listen to a Kadesh project. The song's probably like loosely based around a character. He also does music that is just directly about whatever, but one of his most popular songs is called All Day. It's based off of a Final Fantasy VII sample. They just play horns on it instead. You ever watch Brass and Bougie?
I have not.
So that's him and Kemet, and they have like a 30-piece band.
Wow.
That was phenomenal.
One of my friends is a gal named Sam Wells. I've had her on here a few times, and she performed at Boulevardia, and she's kind of doing psychedelic funk.
That's exciting.
But she
Sam Wells?
Sam Wells. She brought out the brass band with God, what's his name, Dylan, and then in Kadesh. But the whole it was so
That's
much.
dope.
It was fun, dude.
Wow,
they kicked it. It was fun. So the next album I listened to was Nerdy
Neighbors Trap 2.
Neighbors Trap 2.
Yeah, man. Wow.
So
what a time.
Talk about what the heck is trap rap? Remember, this is rap for dummies.
Yeah,
so,
you ever listen to like the Migos?
I'm familiar with them. Yeah,
they're probably like Migos, Gucci Man, like.
By the way, Gucci Man has been in recovery for quite a few years now.
After he got out of jail and everything.
Right.
So he cleaned up.
This came out of Atlanta, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So trap rap is like some Atlanta stuff, but it was very popular 2005, 2010. Like people like Jeezy, Migos is one of the more popular new people.
What was the name of the big video that they did that blew up?
Bad and Bougie is probably the most popular.
Yeah, that's
song.
what I'm thinking of.
But trap rap is just more. The easiest way I can explain it is it's usually about drugs. Most of the people, the hip hop has really changed. Hip hop used to be about the dealer, and now it's about the user. So if you think about like 2005 to 2010, 2015, whatever, it was always about the guy selling the drugs.
And they call it the trap house. That's where you went and bought your stuff.
That's where you got the stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But now, if you listen to a lot of the more popular people, they're talking about using the drugs. So if you listen to Future, he's always talking about doing a whole bunch of lean. If you listen to Juice WRLD, he's popping pills, doing all these things. So it changed from these are the guys that sell it to now they sell it and use it. Mm-hmm. So the era that I think that I'm kind of in the middle, I'm kind of sandwiched in between because I relate to all the young guys, but I'm not messing with none of that stuff. Well, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. But I'm on the other end, I'm like, I was dealing with the dealers. Mm-hmm. So trap is just more location.
Okay.
Trap is the bad neighborhood where you can go get the stuff at, which is the trap house. So that's just where I was at. It
kind of helped, if I understand right, it really propelled rap into mainstream.
Oh, man. Well,
and by 2010, maybe trap rap hit its peak. Is that right?
I don't know.
But by 2018, I was just talking to Matt, like hip hop is literally like it's one of the number one genres in America now since 2018.
It's been on the way up, but it's also because there's a lot of versatility. So it used to be rap sounded a certain way, but now there's rappers and they're singing. Like for example, if you ever listen to Rod Wave, all he raps about is sad stuff. They think he's a rapper, but when you put him on, I mean, he's singing. He's singing his heart out. He's extremely sad. So when you think about like Post Malone.
Yeah, I like Post Malone. Yeah.
When he first came out, they said he was rap. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Does he really fall into that category anymore?
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
No. But when he first came out, we don't know where to put him. Mm-hmm. He's a rapper. Mm-hmm. Tyler, the Creator, won a Grammy for an album called Igor. A rap Grammy. It's not a rap album. It's a pop album. But because he's a black guy, they put him in the rap category. If you ever listen to it, it doesn't sound like any rap album you've ever heard.
So Redbone won a bunch of awards when it came out too for rap hip hop.
Now Redbone, Childish Gambino has far along been bigger than hip hop.
Yeah.
Right? He puts out a whole album and sounds like Prince.
Yeah.
Whole album. I think there's like 2 raps on it. And they say, oh yeah, new hip hop album.
Interesting.
Yeah, man.
I think the first hip hop album which I bought, which would have probably been on cassette, was that double album Voice Box and
oh my God, Outkast.
Yeah, Outkast.
Speaker Box of the Love Below.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. That's a classic.
I think that was the first one I bought.
Hell yeah. You started good. You started good.
I probably could find those cassettes somewhere up there in a box somewhere.
10 out of 10, man. That is a iconic album. And that's one of the first ones that like went like diamond.
Yeah.
Like it was like nuts back then. I went diamond. Only Michael Jackson went diamond before. Yeah, it's crazy.
NWA. I had a rapper guy in my church. Well, we interviewed him, like King Kie.
Oh man, I like King Kie. He's a cool guy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, he started.
He wore his big necklace.
Yeah, he started coming. He's from Hawaii too, by the way, and yeah. But he started coming to my church. He had a Straight Outta Compton T-shirt on, and this was years ago, and largely white church. And I started talking to him about the movie, and NWA and all that. He was so shocked I knew about this stuff. Like, he was,
man, I'm into it. Don't tell the congregation.
The white pastor dude.
Keep it on the low. Keep it cool, King Kie. You know what I'm saying? Slide me your mixtape under the door.
Oh, it's so fun. So fun. It's fun to break stereotypes.
For sure, man.
All that kind of stuff.
So nerdy.
But yeah,
nerdy neighbors.
So Nerdy Neighbor Trap 2.
Wow.
What were you going for in this your on this album? Your concept?
I was trying to be the most ridiculous as possible.
Okay.
And it was like the really like early. I really found myself, and then I lost myself at the same time, because it was like the discovery of the sound that I wanted to have, right? And then this is gonna sound crazy. That sound got dated probably within a year of me finding the sound that I wanted. Then I'm like, dang, I can't do this anymore. This type of record is no longer gonna cut it. I have to grow and I have to change and adapt. So right after I get good, I'm like, this is it. I can do this all day. The culture started shifting. So I wanted to pay more attention to the popular things and I don't make music for trends, but I make music to fit in with the trends. So that way it's still like someone who likes that might enjoy what you do. But I try to sound like myself on any record. So that was when I really started to discover what I wanted that sound to be, and then transitioning to trying to do it.
Okay. So your newest project, Bougie Type Beat, just dropped, what?
Yeah, February.
February.
Pretty cool, man.
And man, so tell what Bougie's all about. What is that? That's another hip hop slang word that.
Man, bougie is just like, bougie's like a lifestyle, man. Like when somebody says they're bougie, it's like, well, what have you bought this bougie? Like, what is it that makes you bougie, right? And it's just the way that you react to things. I was at someone's house and they pulled out some McCormick. I was like, there's no way that I'm drinking any McCormick with you. I was like, you couldn't pay me to drink McCormick with you. And he's like, oh, you're too bougie now, huh? And I'm like, for McCormick? Yeah. Wow. It's just like, hey, Matt, let's go to McDonald's. Yeah, probably not. I mean, if I'm drunk, sure. But I don't like wake up and choose violence. I'm not waking up and choosing McDonald's. So they'll say that you've grown too bougie for McDonald's, huh?
Yeah, right.
And it's like, maybe my palate has just gotten better. Maybe back then it was cool, but now it's not, because it's not quality. It's not a good product. So bougie is more of a lifestyle, I think. And then there's, of course, like the designer stuff. They say that all that's like bougie because it's just super expensive. But I mean, you don't have to be in designer to be considered bougie. But yeah.
Is there an element where you make it to a certain extent, you get some success behind you, you can afford some things, but then you keep your humble roots? Is that kind of the idea?
Even when I couldn't afford it, I wasn't eating McDonald's. It's just not delicious, man. I'm gonna find somewhere else, man. I'm gonna go to Wendy's. I'm gonna go somewhere.
Matt and I know a guy that owns several McDonald's, so we won't pass this on to him.
Hey man. Hey, there's no knock on McDonald's, man. I get it, but if we're gonna go ahead and talk about it, it's not cheap anymore.
Oh, it isn't.
It isn't cheap.
Right.
I went. Okay, really. I went with my friend Jason last Sunday, and he wanted McDonald's. I'm like, all right, bro, he doesn't have a car. So I drove him. You want McDonald's? It's whatever, bro. He's like, is that what you want? I'm like, it's not about what I want, it's what you want. So we took him to McDonald's and he's like, all right, what do you want? I want a McDouble, a McChicken, a fry, and a Dr. Pepper. We got 6 sandwiches, 2 fries, and 2 pops. It was $27. Those sandwiches used to be $1. The fries by themselves, $5 a piece.
Wow.
Drinks were only $1.50 or something like that. Yeah. And then it was almost, $18 for the rest of the sandwiches. So, not really cheap anymore. So I'm just saying for my $30, I'm going to go sit somewhere. Get something that I like.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm the same way. I've never
Gotta
been
be, man. Gotta be. So Bougie Type Beat, if you listen to the project, every beat sounds different. In this situation, I was thinking of the versatility of artists. I wanted to show off that I can rap to any beat.
I'm going to pull this up here. Yeah. The song titles, because I was listening. Mantra, yeah. Eaters Anonymous.
So Eaters Anonymous is down south, like a DJ's Crew. Mantra is more of a New York style beat. BB is Memphis Juke. Tifa Lockhart is more of a just an East Coast type beat. The Celebrate is a Detroit style beat. So we and then
what's B-Boy?
Man, yeah, that was Memphis. So there's a dance called the Memphis Juke, and they dance to those type of records. Then Celebrate is a Detroit type beat. If you would listen to, for example, a real popular Detroit artist is a guy named Sada Baby. They rap to those extremely fast, up-tempo sample beats. And then Enterprise, I think it was like a Miami, like Florida type inspiration.
Who's Mantra?
Mantra's New York.
Okay.
So basically, like we just went and took all the popular styles that people are rapping.
I liked Enterprise too.
That's my song, man. I really enjoy that one. Whenever I perform it, there's a blank spot. And I say, hey, all right, crowd, make some noise. And I'm like, oh. And the hook comes on, and the first word of the hook is shut up. And they're just like, oh, you cooked us. Yeah. So that was just like the whole idea of that project was just to show that I could rap to any type of beat. So the producer his name is E/Infinity. He would make the beat and I'd be like, I'm ready to rap. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yep, let's do it. Whatever I thought of right now is what I'm putting down on the record. And he's like, well, that's it? I'm like, that's it. So we made a few more records. I didn't put them on there because I feel like they didn't fit. Even though it really just ridiculous. There's no flow, rhyme, or reason to it. I just was in the studio with a dude and we hung out for like 6 months and I went to see him every Tuesday and that's what we did. So he wants to do another one. We'll see how. Stuff. We'll see. Yeah, it was fun. It just depends on our time, how we can make it work.
Good stuff. Have you ever heard of a rapper, I think out of Sacramento, named Mozzie?
Of course. Mozzie's dope.
You like him?
Yeah. He rap a little slow for me, though.
Yeah.
Usually, like, if you listen, I'm more of an up-tempo guy.
Yeah.
But he's great, man. He has some records with a dude named Blast. They're really good.
His album called Spiritual Conversations.
See, I knew you were going to tap into that one. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that, though. I thought he
has a lot of perspective.
He dove into the psychology of growing up in a pretty tough street environment, you know.
I think the person that does that the best is Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
So, like, if you ever take the time to listen to the album he did called Good Kid, Mad City, the whole album is actually a story about a boy from the perspective of growing up in, like, Compton.
Yeah.
And it literally goes through his, like, is he going to have to kill someone? His first crush, riding around with the people he shouldn't be riding around with. Like, one of the big singles is about alcoholism, but he made it sound like a party song. You would turn it on and it's at every club and you're like drinking to it, but the song is actually like really not for alcoholism, but you would not know that unless you just sat down and broke it down. So if you enjoyed that, you should check out Good Kid, Mad City.
I will do that.
It's one of the greatest hip hop albums in the past 20 years, in my opinion.
One of my black pastor friends who grew up in the core here in Kansas City, single mom, dad lived across town, never met his dad. You know, I asked him, how old were you when you first started emulating like the drug dealer pimp guys. Because they'd come into the neighborhood and the nice cars and hot chicks and bling and all the stuff. And he goes, oh, probably 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
I was just like, holy crap, you know.
It's something that unfortunately you're like, what else am I supposed to look up to, right?
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
I mean, you look
They got it. They got it. When you're 5, you don't know how they got it. All you see is this guy and he looks a certain way and I want to look that way and I want to have what he has, right? I was a nerd, so I never had to get into any of that. I was like, I don't want to look like him, but I would like some money to go to Barnes and Noble.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like women, do you like Dragon Ball Z? No, okay, you can leave. You couldn't tell me anything until I was probably in high school. Then I was like, well, I got a problem.
But talk about this though, because there is now a whole subgenre of nerdy Black rappers, right?
Absolutely.
And Kadesh would be one of those guys, right?
It's actually a lot more mainstream than you think.
Yeah, that's
that's why I always say nerdcore adjacent. I used to very much fight with people about it because I don't have a problem being called nerdcore or whatever, but I listen to some of the people that are in that category and I'm like, yeah, whoa, we sound totally different. You know, but there's a lot of very popular artists that are on and normal mainstream rap and they rap about anime. And it's just, if you're not popular, they categorize you as nerdcore. But if you're on and you have a popular fan base, you know, Waka Flocka Flame has a song and he goes, suck my Dragon Balls, I'm Goku. I'm saying that's you're like, oh, well, we know Waka Flocka Flame like watches Dragon Ball Z, right?
Right.
And then there's just like tons of lines. If you go back to like J. Rudy Damaja from like the 80s, he had anime there. Kanye is one of his biggest inspiration is the movie Akira.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they don't say he's a nerdcore rapper. And he is like, that red jacket that he wore was based off Akira. Like, there's been scenes and things that he'll tell you that he pays homage to. It's because of Akira. It's one of the most influential movies ever, by the way.
Yeah, definitely. That's one I know, actually.
Yeah. Hey. But when you think about it, what is it when they take a bunch of them and put them together? A compilation of people that have taken that motorcycle scene when they hit that turn. It's been done 100 times now in the exact same way.
Wow.
Because when you make classic stuff, people want to emulate.
That's cool. So let's talk about your social media stuff.
Yeah, man.
Because your rap hip hop career kind of highlighted that, but you started doing what? Not that long ago. You started.
I got serious a year ago.
Okay,
January of 2023 is when I got serious about it.
And you started posting like food restaurant reviews, all kinds of reviews, right?
Everything. So
talk about this, and then tell how it blew up. So because that's kind of crazy.
This is crazy. All right, I started doing food reviews before there was Reels on Facebook. Before there was Instagram, when Instagram was for pictures, and it used to be a hassle to post a video on Instagram. I was doing food reviews. We would go to the gas station and buy all the new snacks, and me and my friend Bunny would just eat them and just
comment,
talk stuff, just go crazy. We would just be eating the most ridiculous things. Like when a fast food restaurant came out with something new, we would just pull up in the drive-thru. Like I didn't know anything about shooting. I didn't know anything about anything. And I would just be like, all right, man, we're about to eat this. And everyone loved it. And it had a great reaction. But I talked myself out of it, right? I'm like, nobody wants to see this. Nobody wants to watch me eat food. There's no one else doing anything like this unless you're on Food Network. So I did not think that probably 7-8 years after I started doing food reviews that there would be people who messed their job, influencers doing all these different things. So 2020, what year was COVID? Was it 2021?
2020.
Okay, 2020. I started doing it again. I had a friend named Porn, one of the most talented people to exist. And what we started doing was we would take popular TikTok things and recreate them and we were going to post the videos and get back into going to restaurants, but it was going to start with us just doing the TikTok stuff. So we can go like to stitching, you know what I mean? And that would help you to boost your views because it was already a viral thing that you recreated. So he's the one who designed my logo. And we made like 3 or 4 episodes and like we were ready to start dropping it, right? And then we went to Margaritas. A week later, he's in the hospital and COVID does what COVID does.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, it was like the day before. He's like, yeah, bro, I'm about to get out and we're going to get right back on it. You've been telling me that I haven't been applying myself. And I realized that all my talent's going to go to waste. So tomorrow, we are going to do everything that we said we would ever do. And this is in a group chat. It's me, my friend Nikki, I think my friend Tim, and I want to say one other person. Next day, you know the call. It's gone. So, of course, mourning, you know, all the stuff that you do after someone passes. And then a couple months later, I'm like, he got all my dang files, man. He took them with him. So I hit his girl and I'm like, can you dig through the computer? And she's like, I don't want to touch this computer. Oh my God. Oh. And I'm like, bring me the computer. All right. I respect the grieving process, but we got to move on. Like, let me look at it. So everything that he shot, no one knows where he saved it. It was gone again.
Oh, wow.
So then I'm like, you know what? It's not meant to be. Done again. So all I had left was the logo, and he shot me an intro. It was like 1 minute intro. And yeah. So 2023 came back around, and I said that I was going to go 100% into rap, and I was going to go 100% into every idea that I ever started that I never got serious about. So begrudgingly, I started shooting it myself, and it was terrible. And then after a while, it started to, you know, get a little popular. It was like, I guess people kind of like it. And that's when Mello came to me and he's like, yeah, you suck. And he's like giving me techniques to help me to get better. But he didn't realize it himself, but it was dragging him out of that recluse type situation he had been in. And now he's more active and he wants to do these things. And then I find my village, all the people that have been, you know, buckled down by depression or the things that come after COVID. And a lot of people were trying to figure out what's next. How are we going to reevaluate our lives and all the things that we were going to do? How are we going to make them happen? And I think my resurgence helped them find their footing. And it's not to say that it was me. It would have been anyone in the circle that decided to really push themselves. When you see your friend doing something that you love and they're pushing you, it helps you to bring the people around you together. Definitely. And next thing you know, I look up and the whole village, we're moving when stuff's happening. And I'm like, oh, wow. So it's not just me anymore. You know, it had been just me doing things. And that was one of my big character flaws is I just was so used to being by myself that once I realized there was people that wanted to help me, I didn't want to take their help because I'm so used to doing everything on my own. And then I have all these people in my village waiting with their hands up like, please, let us help you with this stuff because you suck. And I'm like, nah, man, you guys are wrong. I don't want your help. But of course, eventually I caved. And I really could say I saw exponential jump in all of my content because Mello, he shoots. That's his job. That's what he does. So he was like, yeah, your problem is your angles, your timing, and this, and this. Then Amira, she's an editor. And she's just like, yo, you're doing these things. These are all bad. You shouldn't do this. And I'm like, never edited, never shot anything. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are just hating. Look at these people are liking it. And they're like, yeah, they're liking it because of you.
Yeah.
You know, like you suck, but you on the mic is great. Like this is crazy. And so they showed me other people because that was the thing. I just started doing it and I wasn't watching anymore. Right. I just was doing it because I said that's what I was going to do. So they helped me to start looking into other people that do it. And so I could adopt some of the editing styles and some of the way that they shoot it, which helped me to get better in general. And lo and behold, man, yeah, things are definitely going in the right direction. I just was with a few really popular influencers a few weeks ago, and we did Mooney, which is the Teddy owns Buck Toolie, Mooney, and Waldo Thai. Those are 3 restaurants, which are all phenomenal, by the way. So I got to meet a lot of really popular influencers, and we all just sat there and just talked, and they just brought us all the food out. And they use, I call them the Tiger Cry Big Back Fries, and they use that name, and that was really cool, man. So it has been a journey.
Yeah, and like some of these have just like gone viral.
Yeah.
Like a million.
Not a million. It didn't go that high.
100,000.
Yeah. But what's crazy, Fred, the stuff that has went the most viral is when I'm like being a comedian. I did this thing, and it's like I'm from Kansas City, of course. And yeah, it has done the most views I've ever seen in my whole life. And I'll be sitting looking at it like, y'all want me to be a comedian so bad, and I won't do it. I mean, like, it's like I'm not a skit person, like, right? But that's what I said about food too.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna go ahead and do a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah.
But might as well, man.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's fun.
It has been a hell of a journey.
Yeah. So how do people find what you're putting out there content-wise?
Absolutely, man. The Epitome KC on everything. TheEpitome KC. That's on Instagram, YouTube,
Facebook, TikTok.
Yep, all that.
Okay.
And that's
Say it one more time.
The Epitome KC. That's TheEpitome KC. For the folks at home.
There we go. Check it out. Food reviews, other types of reviews.
I do like this thing called Date Destination, and that says whether you should bring your sneaky link, your girlfriend, your wife, or someone you're seriously talking to. So instead of it being a rating on how dope the place is, it's a rating on what type of person you should bring it to.
Oh.
So it's like, yeah, this is a great place for your sneaky link. You don't want to bring your girlfriend here. I just thought that when I was thinking of watching people review these places, it's always like, oh, it was so nice. Yeah, no, I'm going to tell you about it, but this is who you should bring to it. That's what you really want to know. So just a different perspective. Then like I post like just fashion things that I buy and how to put it on. And then like shoes. So I post anytime I buy shoes.
What are some of the places in Kansas City that aren't that well known that are like super cool for a sneaky link?
Yeah, man. Oh. Okay. Well, first off, the foundation is great because they open at 1.
I need to check.
They open at 1 a.m.
Oh man.
So then, by the time
have to rearrange my whole sleep schedule.
By the time you get done over there, you know where you're taking them to. There's a place called In the Lowest Ferns, and it's like
say it again.
In the Lowest Ferns.
Okay.
So there's speakeasy type hours.
Oh.
It's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's open at like 9 o'clock, and you can only you only can get in once. When you leave, you're done. They're going to charge you again, or the room will be full. So that's one of those places you go to because it's dark. It's real smoky in there. And yeah, man, nobody's going to know. Nobody going to know you in there. You'll be all right.
What about just you want to shine and stand out, but have great food and
Yeah. You talking?
I'm talking about stuff that maybe people wouldn't know about.
Yeah. Like, I really like the Uptown Lounge on Wednesdays.
I love the Uptown.
Yeah.
I slip in there quite often.
Rob Tribb.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the piano player. So they have what's called R&B night on Wednesdays there. And it's Rob Tribb and a guy named Kevin Church Johnson on the drums. Mm-hmm. And they bring in a singer every Wednesday. And it's one of my favorite places. Mm-hmm. Then Tribb also does something on Tuesday at the Phoenix. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, and the Phoenix has food and drinks. But he'll bring in another singer very similar to how he does it on Wednesdays. Mm-hmm. Then another just like really low-key place, but you have to look up the calendar, is Johnny's. So there's one in Blue Springs and there's one downtown. They're all connected to those B&B theaters. And they have live music a lot. And that's one of those places, people don't know. But they always think about the movies, but right next to it. Then another one, real sneaky. I like this one. It's called the Colonel's Club, and it's out in Parkville. You have to request it. It's only about 10 people at a time.
What?
Yeah. Colonel's Club.
Right here in my backyard.
It's a secret, like they got to put a little door code in, and then it opens up, and it only can be 10 people in there at a time.
Really?
So, yeah, it's free, too. It's free.
Interesting.
And it's connected to a pizza spot. So right after you eat, you set your reservations up to go get the pizza, and then you can sneak right out. No one will ever know you're in there. It's great.
Wow. Interesting. Well, cool, man. Thanks for sharing this stuff. So do you have can you do a spoken rap or like without any beats or background or anything? I'm just wondering. Is there any of them that would pop into your brain that you could?
I don't know, man. I don't think it translates like that.
Yeah.
Or even, I'd be curious just from like, I don't write anymore, but when I used to, like, have any like hooks or lines or anything that you're proud of?
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be
Yeah.
cool.
Because I want to drop something in on this interview right at the end for people to sample your rap.
Let's see.
So maybe you can send us a track or something that you'd like us to put on.
Absolutely. Let me see. I know I have something I really like. Hold on a moment.
Say your question again, Matt.
I was just curious, like any lines or hooks or anything that he's written that he's really proud of.
Yeah.
Lyrically.
I said, most don't make it off the block. This ain't a race. Don't check my fanny pack. This the trap. You ain't seen that because you Google Maps. I think it was fun, man.
I like that.
I'm a big double entendre guy too. Like I love lines that have multiple meanings. That's one of my favorites. So this line is, Lord, Z's on my head since the days of Mighty Morphin, right? So with that, then I said, I've been jumping since the porches. If I ain't in the block, I orbit. So, Lord Z's on my head. If you ever watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the bad guy is Lord Zed, and he has a big Z on his head, right? So, in slang terms, a Z in the drug world is a zip. A zip is 28 grams of weed, right? So, a zip. Z's on my head because I'm thinking about that next move. How to move the zip, but Lord said has a Z on his head. So good Lord, Z's on my head since the days of Mighty Morphin, because that's how long I've been thinking about busting this move.
I like that.
I like that. So tell me this, so I've been listening to rap a long time.
Yeah.
I will sometimes pick a favorite song and try to rap with it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I suck at it.
Me too.
It's like, what the crap? To me, it's like a gift of flow or words or something. And I can't dance that well either, but I'm like going, what? Is it just is it a gift or how do I?
It's different when you write it.
Is it?
Yeah. Because I don't memorize songs well.
So it would be hard for you to like just pick your favorite and just hit it like boom, 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 boom.
They
boom.
asked me to do, his name is Stefan, great guy, great show. But of course they asked me to be Biggie. And I swear to God, I memorized this verse for a whole month, and I got up on stage and completely bombed it because it's not mine.
Isn't that interesting?
And I kept trying to rap it like Big, but I'm not like Big. So it was very difficult for me to put myself into that character because I'm like, this isn't even what I would talk about. Like, I don't know. So they were asking me to do it again, and I'm like, I didn't respond because not that I didn't have a good time, but it's just difficult for me to memorize like other people's stuff unless it's something that I listen to literally constantly. Mm-hmm. So like one of those ones for me is like Kanye Through the Wire. You know, I drink a boost for breakfast, an inshore for dessert. Somebody order pancakes, I just sip the scissor. I could like rap that 1,000 times, but it's because I've listened to Through the Wire like 508,000 plus times. So it's different. When it's something that I hadn't listened to a lot and I'm trying to like memorize it, nah. And then any new song, I don't have any new song, in like the past probably like 5 years that I've memorized because none of it has any staying power for me.
Yeah. Well, I try sometimes like this. Now that like Jack Harlow's that Whips and Chains.
Man, hey, I love that song.
Yeah, it's so fun, and it's kind of singy a little bit. Yeah. So
Jack. And he spells missionary. He's like Missonary. I was like, young missionary. Okay, bro. You know what? You got it, Jack. Sure. I don't know what you're talking about, but hey, I'm here for you, man. I love that song.
It's fun. Well, thank you for coming on Spirituality Adventures.
Man.
It was so fun hearing your story and hanging with you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
My God.
Very cool. Folks, check out, give the name one more time.
The Epitome KC on all platforms, TheEpitome KC.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. See you next time. Hey, you made it to the end. Thanks for listening all the way through on this episode. By the way, if you're not already a supporter, go to spiritualityadventures.com, sign up for one of our monthly supports, and you will receive our bonus content. You'll receive lots of interesting information about our guests. Many of our musicians will do special bonus songs and record a song. So I want to encourage you to do that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Be sure and subscribe. Be sure and share any of the episodes that you like. And be sure and make comments if you like them as well. This helps us get Spirituality Adventures out there to more listeners, more watchers. So whatever platform you're using, subscribe, like, share, make comments, and go to our website, sign up for our team, and be a part of the team support. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.